Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, if you spent any time at all writing object-oriented code, you absolutely know the drill. You put up a pull request, and boom, someone blocks it with that classic line, hey, this class should really just do one thing, right? Cue the massive eye roll. It's literally one of the most repeated pieces of advice in software engineering. But here's the secret. That advice, it's actually a massive misinterpretation of the original principle. So today, we're going to debunk this myth completely. We're going to look at what the single responsibility principle, or SRP, actually means in the real world, and how you can use it to build way better software.
So ask yourself, what does that famous S in the SOLID acronym actually stand for in practice? Most tutorials out there or internet forums, they just boil it down to this catchy little phrase, a class should do one thing. But honestly, what even is a thing? Is calculating a price one thing? Or wait, is applying a discount, adding tax, and converting currency? Is that three separate things? You see the problem. The phrase do one thing is just incredibly vague and confusing. It leaves developers endlessly arguing over, how many lines of code a method should have, instead of talking about actual meaningful software architecture.
And the whole problem really starts when we pit this widely repeated myth, a class should do one thing, against the actual reality, a class should have one reason to change. Look, if you blindly follow that internet tutorial myth, it almost always leads to terrible architecture. You basically end up with one of two extremes. Either you get a terrifying massive God class because someone decided managing an entire user session is technically one thing, or you get this completely unreadable swarm of tiny 5-line microclasses because someone else decided every single math operation absolutely needs its own separate file. And let's be real, neither of those makes your code easier to maintain.
Okay, let's dive into this. To get to the reality of the situation, we have to look at how Robert C. Martin, who you probably know as Uncle Bob, actually defined the principle in its foundational texts. The true original definition is simply this: a class should have one, and only one, reason to change. This completely reframes the entire conversation. We are no longer sitting around arguing about what the code computationally does. Instead, we're talking about the forces that will inevitably force that code to change in the future.
So, the absolutely crucial question here is, what exactly counts as a reason to change? And this right here is where the light bulb goes off for most developers. Think about it. Code doesn't just wake up one day and spontaneously ask to be modified, right? People ask for modifications, usually by dropping an annoying Jira ticket on your desk. So a reason to change is actually a stakeholder. It's a person, maybe a specific role or a whole department whose business needs are driving that specific piece of code. Basically, SRP is fundamentally about people. It's about protecting different stakeholders from each other's constantly changing requirements.
Let's ground this. Let's look at a highly practical, concrete example. Just imagine we have a sample invoice class in our system. Right now, this class handles three main tasks. First, it formats the invoice for compliance printing. Second, it calculates the total taxes and discounts. And third, it handles database persistence, meaning it saves the invoice to our SQL database. Now, under that old do-one-thing myth, you might actually argue, hey, this does three things. But let's apply our new stakeholder test instead, so we can see the real structural problem. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact stakeholder test. When we map those specific code functions to the actual human departments that are going to request changes to them, a super clear pattern emerges. The formatting logic? Well, that's entirely controlled by the compliance department. They're the ones legally dictating what the printed invoice has to look like. The calculation logic? That is driven by the finance department, because they set the tax rules. And the persistence? That's managed by our database administrators or the shipping team who maintain the data schema. So what do we have? We have three functions, but more importantly, three entirely distinct stakeholders, sharing one single file.
So what happens if we just leave all of this jammed into one invoice file? Well, imagine the finance department suddenly changes the tax rules. A developer goes into the invoice class to update that calculation logic. But because the code is all tangled up together, they accidentally introduce a bug that alters how the data is formatted, and suddenly, boom, the compliance department's printed invoices look totally wrong, and they fail a massive audit. The result? Completely unrelated code breaks because distinct stakeholders are touching the exact same file. And honestly, this is exactly the nightmare that the single responsibility principle is trying to prevent.
So how do we actually build a proper solution here? We have to deconstruct the class based on who asks for the change, not just what the code computes. Step 1. We isolate the calculation logic into its very own class, specifically for the finance department. Step 2. We isolate the formatting logic into a separate class for the compliance department. And step 3, we separate the persistence logic for our DBAs. See what we're doing? We are organizing the code around the actual people who will request changes to it. That way, a sudden change in tax law doesn't accidentally completely break our database schema.
Now, I know all of this sounds absolutely great in theory, but we have to step back and be pragmatic for a second. Is applying SRP always worth the cost? Because, let's face it, design decisions inevitably involve trade-offs. Abstraction is literally never free. Every single time you split a class, you're introducing complexity in another dimension. You're creating more files to open, more relationships to track, and a whole lot more cognitive load just to understand how the entire system connects together.
And there's a very real danger of hitting the exact opposite failure mode. This quote perfectly captures it. Solid design principles are just principles, not rules. For the sake of SRP, must avoid over-fragmenting of code. I mean, if you over-decompose your application into a massive swarm of tiny, disconnected classes just to satisfy some dogmatic interpretation of SRP, you completely obscure the actual business domain. It becomes practically impossible to trace what an operation actually does just because the logic is scattered to the wind across 20 different files. So, it's a balancing act. We constantly have to weigh the benefit against the cost. The benefit, of course, is safe, isolated changes. Finance absolutely cannot break compliance as code. But the cost? It's boilerplate forwarding methods, way more architectural wiring, and much higher cognitive load. You really should only willingly pay this cost when your stakeholders are genuinely distinct. Honestly, if your application is just a simple internal tool and you are the sole developer essentially playing every single role, obsessively separating out persistence and formatting might just be premature optimization that completely slows you down.
So, to wrap up, what should you actually take away from this explainer? First off, please discard the do one thing myth. It's vague, it's misleading, just toss it. Instead, focus entirely on who asks for changes. Group together things that change for the same reasons, driven by the same exact people. Second, avoid over-fragmenting the domain. Don't create a ridiculous maze of tiny useless classes. And finally, accept the trade-offs of wiring. Use your critical thinking. The solid principles are fantastic guidelines to help you attain maintainability. They are not rigid religious dogma that you must strictly follow 100% of the time.
I want to leave you with this final, truly provocative thought to take back to your codebase. When a class is being asked to change for multiple reasons, those reasons are usually different people in disguise. Think about that for a second. Next time you're reviewing a massive, tangled file, don't ask yourself, what does this code do? Instead, ask yourself, who is going to tell me to change this? It is a wildly powerful lens that will completely change how you architect your software. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy coding!